Caffeine Fix PHX.
I was having a really kind of like bad day a couple of years ago, and I remember putting my head on the table, and that's when my slogan popped in my head: make the world your cafe. Oh, my name is Ruben, and I'm the founder of Café Emporos here in Goodyear, Arizona.
A student loan to pay off, travels to a distant land, and the journey reveals the path to the future. This is the story of Café Emporos.
You have kind of a unique entrepreneurial spin on coffee. What is it that you do?
Well, so I make these little packets. They're called hand drip satchels, and I put 9 grams of coffee in these little filters, and you pour water over the filter, over the coffee, and you have your fresh cup of coffee.
It's a pour over that you just pull out a packet and you're good to go.
Yes, it's like an on the go. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for about 3 years, but I moved back from Korea about 2015, where I was an English teacher, and that's what kind of got me started on this whole.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little. It's an interesting story. How did you end up in Korea?
So I moved to Korea in 2010. I had to pay off a lot of student loans, and so I started teaching over there for a couple of years, and while I was there was a boom in the coffee industry, and me not having a car, I saw all these coffee shops pop up. So I think when I got there, it was about 10 to 12,000 coffee shops, and when I left, it was over 50,000 coffee shops, 50. So wow. I think I visited every single one of them, just walking down. And while I was there was really no need for me to do those like grab and go coffees, because there were cafes everywhere. So I would stop in and enjoy their pour overs and their espressos, and it was a really nice experience.
So you were there 5 years. Fast forward to you coming back here and what you're doing now.
So I got my certification in Korea as a barista, and then I worked at a specialty cafe for a couple of years. And when I came back here, that's why that all started, because of the experience that I had at that cafe in Cheonan, South Korea.
So you, being entrepreneurial in spirit, saw a niche here. What gave you this idea? What inspired it to happen?
So when I first got back, I wanted to open up a cafe. Couldn't do that. Didn't have any capital. Didn't know anyone. It was just kind of like one of those, a very, very crazy dream. I had this thing in my head that when I walked off the plane, someone was going to hand me the keys to a cafe. But I didn't know anybody here, because I had already done so much work in Korea, just learning about coffee. So I started from the very bottom, just like everybody does when running a business, and I had to find a product. So I wanted to roast coffee, but how are they going to drink it? So I had this experience with these filters overseas, because these filters were actually invented in the late 80s. So when I came back, I did a pop-up bar downtown, and I couldn't take in all the glass and the coffee grinder, because I couldn't get past security. So what I did was, the night before, I prepared 80 of these little filters. And so I condensed my entire setup into 3 little boxes and some cups.
Necessity leads to invention,
yes.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And those wows at that breakfast is what was that little seed that was planted. And I was, okay, I think I have something here, so I'm going to kind of run with it.
And you have. Now what are you doing to kind of further the business? You're online, you're doing farmers markets, pop-up events.
Yes, a really big help has been with the Innovation Hub here in Goodyear. I've been working with the project manager, Dara Mann, that's helped me kind of find my way through, starting this business. Peoria Ford, been kind of going to those events as well. ASU has been a great help. I'm part of the Venture Devils. So it's a lot of these, I had this idea, and then being a part of these groups has helped kind of like shape and format into.
It helped you develop a business plan, it helped you connect with people. Exactly. and find resources. So let's get back to the coffee now. What kind of things are you producing?
So I am working with Xanadu Coffee Roasters downtown. He's kind of helping me how to roast. He's teaching me how to roast. And so I offer an Ethiopian light roast, Colombian medium roast, and a Ugandan dark roast. And they come in these little filters, and I'll just kind of show you what it is real quick. So you just tear open the top, and there's a little filter.
Wow.
And what you do is you tear it open, extend the little hangers, and it's important to place it over the mug just like this, and this will secure the weight. And then you just pour your hot water. Just like a regular pour over, you just kind of add a little bit of water, that coffee to.
Do you agitate the beans at all, the ground coffee, like you would normally a pour over?
No, it's not necessary, because the filter is so small, so when you just pour, it'll do it by itself. Now for this one, you do want to take your time pouring. It's going to take about a minute and a half for the longer ones. If you just start pouring in it right away, it'll come out a little bit lighter. So this one's going to be darker, because you kind of allow that bloom at the very beginning.
And this is the Ugandan?
Yes. And what you can do as well is you can do cafe lattes, an iced cafe latte. You put ice and whole milk at the bottom, put this on top, pour, and it'll actually layer your drink. So you'll have the milk on the bottom and coffee on the top. Great if you have guests coming over.
I love the simplicity of this. This is really a brilliant idea.
And isn't it amazing that it's been around for such a long time?
It's interesting too how things catch on and when they catch on, and the fact that another culture has already kind of embraced this and then you brought it here to us. Why have you picked the types of coffees that you're roasting, and where are you getting them at this point?
So there was someone here that I met that has a coffee farm in Uganda, so I started carrying that as well, kind of like that direct trade. And then we were just kind of experimenting with other coffees that fit with this filter as well. That took a little bit of experimenting because you're only using 9 grams of coffee. So I do have instructions online as well when you are adding your own coffee, like the amount that you use, the grind size, the roast type, but you can pretty much do anything. And then with this as well, you can, if you want it stronger, just allow it to steep for an additional minute and it'll keep extracting. So right now I just have single origins, just those 3, Ethiopian, Colombian, and Ugandan, but I do offer the empty filters. I do have some customers that want like decaf coffee or the hazelnut, pumpkin spice. Those are the kind of things that I don't currently offer, but they're welcome to add their coffee in the empty filters and brew it anywhere.
I wish folks could smell this, because right now this room is just exploding with the flavor and the smell of that wonderful coffee.
Which is great when you're on a plane as well. You can brew these on planes. So when you open it, I mean, the cabin smells great.
What a great concept. So what's the plan from here on out, Ruben?
Right now, I've been doing the farmers markets for 2 years, which has been amazing, meeting other vendors and just getting to know other, just local businesses, business owners. But I'm moving it to online now, so really pushing my customer base to purchase online. And I do have a subscription as well where you can get 3 of these packs delivered to you every month. And so just really kind of pushing that subscription model. I have these right here, which are cold brew bags. So think of just coffee in a tea bag.
Oh, that's great.
And you can make hot coffee with it just like you do hot tea, but you steep this in cold water overnight, and the next morning you have your cold brew.
So tell people where they can find your product, some of the events that you're going to be at in the coming months.
Well, my product is available at cafeemporos.com, and this coffee is also available at Purple Elephant Cakes in Litchfield Park. But this holiday season, I really encourage people to go to the farmers markets. There's one here in Verrado, there's another one in Estrella. Get on the website, on pretty much any website in your city, find out where the farmers markets are and support local businesses and purchase, holiday gifts from there, because there's some pretty unique things out there that, would be great as gifts and even to enjoy every week.
Local AZ, that's right. And you're not exclusive to the west side of town either, are you?
Oh, no. This has actually allowed me to be mobile. So actually it brings me to my slogan. I was having a really kind of like bad day a couple of years ago, and I remember putting my head on the table, and that's when my slogan popped in my head: make the world your cafe. So that's what kind of gave me a little bit of, I wasn't able to open up a coffee shop, but now when people enjoy my coffee, that's kind of like little Café Emporos.
What a great story, Ruben. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. We
appreciate
really
it. Thank
appreciate you letting us come in and do this.